What if the last thing you drink before bed is the reason your blood pressure is still high? And what if one simple change tonight could start lowering it naturally while you sleep? Because what happened to one of my patients still surprises people when I tell this story. He was a 72-year-old man, disciplined, taking his BP medicines regularly, avoiding junk food, even going for walks. On paper, everything looked under control, but every morning, his blood pressure was still high, not slightly high, dangerously high. And this is where most people get confused. मैं सब सही कर रहा हूँ, फिर भी BP control क्यों नहीं हो रहा? That's exactly what he asked me. But what we discovered next changed everything. Welcome to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. I'm Dr. Danzy, and today I'm going to reveal the #1 bedtime drink that many seniors use to naturally support lower blood pressure overnight. But here's the truth. It's not just about the drink. It's about what your body goes through in those 6 to 8 hours while you sleep, because your night routine is silently controlling your morning BP. And this is where most people make a deadly mistake. They focus on daytime habits, but ignore what happens at night. Let me explain something very simple. At night, your body is in repair mode. Your heart rate slows down, blood vessels relax, hormones adjust, and ideally, your blood pressure should dip. This is called nocturnal dipping, a healthy pattern. But in many people, this doesn't happen. Instead, BP stays high, or even rises, and this condition is strongly linked with higher risk of heart attack and stroke. Now here's the shocking part. A study of over 2,000 seniors found that those who did not experience proper BP dipping at night had nearly 2x higher cardiovascular risk compared to those with normal nighttime reduction. So the question is, why is your body not relaxing at night? Why is your BP not dropping? And this is where the hidden mistake comes in, what you consume before bed. One of my patients, a 70-year-old woman, was doing everything right during the day, balanced meals, regular medication, light activity, but at night, she had one habit, a very common habit. Before bed, she would drink a cup of tea, sometimes with sugar, sometimes without. She believed, "Isse neend ahi aati hai." But inside her body, something else was happening. Because tea contains caffeine, even in smaller amounts, it stimulates your nervous system, raises heart rate, tightens blood vessels, and interferes with the natural relaxation your body needs at night. So instead of lowering BP, her body was staying alert, active, under subtle stress, and this is the myth we need to break. Light tea or coffee before bed is harmless, not for your heart, not for your blood pressure, especially if you are above 50, because your body becomes more sensitive. Now let me take you back to that patient. We didn't change her medicines. We didn't add anything complicated. We just removed that one habit, no tea after evening, and introduced a simple bedtime drink. And what happened next was powerful. Within weeks, her morning BP readings started improving. She felt calmer at night. Her sleep improved, and slowly, her body returned to a healthier rhythm. Now think about this. One small change created a measurable impact, and this is where your transformation can begin too. Because your night routine is not just about sleep, it's about recovery. It's about resetting your system, and the drink you choose before bed can either support that process or disturb it. Now, before I reveal that powerful drink, let's understand one more mistake. Many people drink nothing before bed. They go to sleep slightly dehydrated. Now you might think, that's fine, but here's the reality. Mild dehydration can cause blood vessels to tighten, increase heart strain, and lead to higher BP readings in the morning because your body is trying to maintain balance with less fluid, and this creates pressure. Now don't misunderstand me. I'm not asking you to drink large amounts of water before bed. That can disturb sleep. But complete neglect is also not ideal. Balance is the key. Now here's where things get interesting. There is a simple drink, used traditionally in many cultures, known to support relaxation, improve blood vessel function, and gently help reduce blood pressure. And most people either don't know about it or use it the wrong way. One of my patients, a 68-year-old man, had stubborn BP levels. Even with medication, he followed everything, but nights were restless, sleep was disturbed, morning BP still high. When we introduced this drink into his routine, something unexpected happened. Within days, his sleep improved. Within weeks, his BP readings started stabilizing, and over time, he felt more relaxed, more balanced. No magic, no sudden cure, just a simple, consistent habit. Now you might be thinking, what is this drink? I'll reveal it in a moment. But before that, let me ask you something honestly. What do you drink before going to bed? Tea, milk, nothing, or something else? Because what you're about to learn next might completely change that habit, and it could be the missing piece in your BP control. But before we go there, if you want real, practical guidance like this, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, because here, we focus on what truly works in real life, not complicated theories, but simple habits that protect your heart. Now let's continue, because the drink I'm about to reveal is simple but powerful, and the way you use it makes all the difference. Now let's talk about that drink. The one simple thing you can take before bed that quietly supports your blood pressure while you sleep. Warm water with a pinch of cinnamon. Yes, it sounds simple, almost too simple, and that's exactly why most people ignore it. But what this combination does inside your body is far more powerful than it appears. Let me explain. Cinnamon, in small controlled amounts, has compounds that help improve blood vessel function. It supports better circulation, helps the body handle blood sugar more efficiently, and reduces subtle inflammation, which is one of the hidden drivers of high blood pressure. Now, when you combine this with warm water, something important happens. Your body relaxes, digestion becomes smoother, blood vessels begin to dilate gently, and your system prepares for rest the way it's supposed to. Now, let me take you back to that 68-year-old patient. Before starting this, his nights were restless. He would wake up multiple times. Morning BP readings were always high. He felt tired, even after sleeping. But when we introduced this simple drink, half a cup of warm water, with just a small pinch of cinnamon, 30 minutes before bed, everything started to shift. Within a few days, he reported deeper sleep, less restlessness. Within a couple of weeks, his morning BP readings started trending downward, not drastically, but consistently, and that consistency is what protects your heart. Now here's the myth we need to break. If something is simple, it cannot be effective. That is not true. In fact, many powerful health habits are simple, but ignored, because they don't feel dramatic. A study involving around 2,500 adults showed that regular inclusion of cinnamon in small amounts was associated with improved blood vessel flexibility and better metabolic control. Now imagine combining that with proper sleep, reduced stress, and correct nighttime habits. That's where real change happens. But here's where most people make a mistake. They overdo it. More cinnamon, more benefit. Right? Wrong. Too much cinnamon can irritate your system, cause discomfort, and even create other issues. This is where balance matters. Just a small pinch, not a spoon. Consistency, not excess. Now let's go deeper. Why before bed? Because that's when your body is most receptive to recovery. Your nervous system slows down, hormones stabilize, and your body begins repair processes. If you support it at that moment, the impact multiplies, but if you disturb it with caffeine, heavy meals, or stress, you block that recovery, and your BP stays high. Now think about this. You don't need to fight your body. You need to support it. And this simple drink, is one way to do that. But here's something even more important. This drink works best when combined with the habits we discussed earlier. No caffeine at night, light dinner, calm environment. Because no single solution works in isolation. Health is always a combination. Now let me tell you about another patient, a 73-year-old woman who had been struggling with fluctuating BP for years. Some days normal, some days high, unpredictable, which made her anxious. And that anxiety was making things worse. She tried everything, different diets, different routines, but nothing felt stable. When she started this simple bedtime routine, warm water with cinnamon, along with reducing screen time at night and calming her environment, something changed. Her readings became more consistent, her sleep improved, and most importantly, her fear reduced because she finally felt in control. And that feeling is very powerful. Now let me ask you something honestly. Do you have a night routine, or do you just go to bed randomly after scrolling, after stress, after late meals? Because your body notices that every single night, and over time, it reflects in your health. Now here's something most people don't realize. High blood pressure is not just a daytime issue, it's a 24-hour pattern, and nighttime control is just as important, if not more, because if your BP stays high at night, your heart never truly rests, and that continuous strain creates long-term damage. But the good news is, you can influence this pattern with simple, consistent nighttime habits. Now imagine this. You remove caffeine after evening. You eat a light dinner. You take a calm walk if possible. You reduce stress. And before bed, you take this simple drink. That's not complicated, but it is powerful because now you are working with your body, not against it. And that's the real secret. Now in the next part, I'm going to show you something even more important because there's one common mistake that cancels all these benefits. Yes, cancels them. And most people do it every single night without realizing it. And what happened to one of my patients because of this mistake will make you rethink your entire night routine. But before we go there, if you're finding value in this, take a moment to subscribe to Dr. Danzy's Senior Health Tips, because these small insights can protect your heart in ways you don't expect. Now let's continue, because what comes next might be the reason your BP is still not under control. Now listen very carefully, because this next mistake cancels everything we just talked about. Your diet, your walk, your bedtime drink, all of it. And the worst part, most people do this every single night without even realizing the damage. I'm talking about late night heavy eating. Yes, that light snack before bed, that thoda sa dinner delay, that habit of eating just before sleeping. And this is where everything starts going wrong. One of my patients, a 74-year-old man, was doing almost everything right. Morning walk, taking medicines, even started the cinnamon drink we discussed. But still, his blood pressure remained high in the morning, unstable, unpredictable. He was confused, frustrated. He said, "Doctor, मैं इतना सब कर रहा हूँ, फिर भी control क्यों नहीं आ रहा?" And what we discovered next was the real problem. He was eating dinner very late, sometimes 10:30, sometimes 11, and within minutes, going to bed. Now, this might sound normal to many people, but inside your body, this creates a serious conflict. Because when you eat, your body becomes active. Digestion starts. Blood flow shifts toward your stomach. Metabolism increases. But when you sleep, your body wants to slow down. Heart rate drops. Systems go into repair mode. Now imagine this. You are forcing your body to do two opposite things at the same time: digest and rest. And this confusion creates stress inside your system. Blood pressure doesn't drop properly. Heart keeps working harder. And over time, this becomes a pattern, a dangerous one. Now here's the myth we need to break. As long as I eat healthy, timing doesn't matter. That is not true. Timing matters more than people realize. A study of over 2,000 adults found that those who ate within 1 hour of sleeping had significantly higher nighttime blood pressure compared to those who finished meals at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Same food, different timing, completely different outcome. Now let me take you back to that patient. We didn't change his food. We didn't increase medication. We made one simple shift. Dinner before 8 p.m., at least 2 to 3 hours gap before sleep. That's it. And what happened next was powerful. Within weeks, his morning BP readings started improving. His sleep became deeper. He woke up feeling lighter, more refreshed. And for the first time, his report started showing stability. And that's the key word here, stability. Because your heart doesn't just need lower numbers. It needs consistent patterns. Now think about your routine. When do you usually eat dinner? And how soon do you go to bed after that? Because that gap is either helping your heart or harming it. Now let's connect everything we've discussed. If you drink the right bedtime drink, but eat late, you reduce its effect. If you avoid caffeine, but overload your system with late meals, you cancel the benefit. If you walk, but disturb your body's natural rhythm at night, you limit the results. That's why I always say, health is not about one habit. It's about alignment, your actions, working together, not against each other. Now here's something even deeper. Late night eating doesn't just affect BP. It increases insulin resistance, promotes fat storage, disturbs sleep cycles, and over time, increases risk of heart disease. So what feels like a small habit becomes a big problem. Now let me ask you something honestly. Are you eating for your schedule or for your health? Because your body doesn't follow your routine. It follows biology, and when you respect that, everything starts improving. Now imagine this. You finish dinner early. You keep it light. You allow your body to digest properly. You stay calm at night. You take your simple bedtime drink, and you sleep without stress. This is not a complicated system, but it is a complete one. And when you follow it consistently, your body responds, your BP stabilizes, your heart relaxes, your risk reduces. Now, before we close, I want to remind you of something very important. There is no magic drink, no instant cure, but there are powerful habits. And when you combine them, they create results that feel almost magical because they work with your body, not against it. Now I want to hear from you. Be honest. What time do you usually eat your dinner? And after how long do you go to sleep? Comment below and share your routine. And tell me, which one of these habits are you going to change from tonight? Because your decision can shape your health for years to come. And if you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, because here, we don't just talk about health, we help you live it. I'm Dr. Danzy, and I'll see you in the next video.